Hey everyone, meteorologist Alex Williams here with you in our Weather Impact Alert Center, and still tracking our winter storm. And of course, you want to know what has changed, what are the latest details. Well, I will say, if you're a snow lover, you might have to look for another storm. Snow is trending down. I think we'll still see some. It'll be mixed with sleet, as we've been talking about, and then it's going to transfer over to freezing rain and become more of an ice storm. I'm not going to use the word actual ice storm because there is criteria for that, and we're not quite there yet, but we are trending in that direction. So that's what we're dealing with, at least at the moment. Here is the latest here. Timing trending more towards the afternoon and the evening start time for Saturday, and that's going to last through Monday morning. So this is a long duration event. Impacts are going to extend beyond basically the weekend into next week because we have to get rid of this, and you need sunshine for that. We're just not going to see a whole lot of sunshine, so to speak, until we get into early Monday. But even then, temperatures are going to be so cold, it's still going to be below freezing for quite some time. So what we're looking at, the impacts can be snow, sleet, and freezing rain. Much less on the snow, a little more on the sleet, and a little more on the freezing rain is the way it's looking right now. Road and power problems, that can be expected. In fact, even widespread power outages will be possible, and they will be long-lasting because this is transitioning more into a icing event than snow event. So you need to be ready to be stuck at home for a few days because conditions just aren't going to improve, unfortunately. So again, what's the impact? It's Saturday through Sunday. We're watching the winter storm, and snow, sleet, freezing rain, really sleet and freezing rain, those are going to be the biggest things. And then again, the power outage risk there is what we're looking at. So if we break down the threats in a nice bar graph for you, you can see that snow, that's going to be on the lower side of things. However, we're now looking at high ice impacts, high travel impacts, high power impacts because of the trend more towards ice. Warmer air is going to be present upstairs in the atmosphere, and that is going to create a scenario where we see a better possibility of ice. I'll go through the timeline here with you real quick, and then I'll show you see, maybe our graphics are freezing up here on us, but yeah, nonetheless, the biggest impact that I cannot state this enough. You have to take this serious, as I smack the microphone, but you have to take this very serious. This is not going to be one of those go outside and play in it type of storms. This is going to be a storm that we need to take serious because sleet is going to make the roads a mess. It's really hard to melt, as Tim has already talked about. And it's also now trending more towards freezing rain. That accretes on everything. The ground is going to be below freezing. Everything's going to be well below freezing and primed. And unfortunately, that just sets up the best scenario for icing. And ice, of course, is going to weigh down trees. Those trees could take out tree branches. Power lines, of course, could be taken out eventually as well. And so, yeah, we're looking at the possibility, at least trending towards a direction of more of, instead of winter storm, snow-wise, more of an ice storm. Again, we're not quite there yet. The criteria for an ice storm warning from the National Weather Service in Raleigh is a quarter inch of ice, so 0.25 inches of ice. And we're close, but we're not quite there for all of our zones. So that's the way that is. Let's see if our graphic loaded here. And it did. So let's start off with some of the timing for this for you, okay? So what we're looking at Friday morning, notice what wind direction that we have at the surface. Already a north-northeasterly wind. So that high to our north is well established across the across the northeast. And that's going to continue to bring in colder air and lock it in. Remember, last weekend we had a transitory high. And so we didn't lock in the cold air. This time, the cold air is going to be locked in. And so our favorite character in the winter weather across the Carolinas, the wedge, is going to be coming back with full strength as we go into this event. And that's one of the reasons why we're just not going to warm up very quickly, and we're going to stay very cold at the surface. And depending on the depth of warm air and then really the depth of cold air. How deep is the cold air? How deep is the warm air? We're going to have the warm air aloft, but if the depth of the cold air is a little narrower, we're going to see more of really a freezing rain event. And then as the depth of cold air is a little bigger, have chance to refreeze some of those raindrops, then you'll see more ice pellets or sleet. And so if we start off Friday morning, you can see a few showers there to our south with this incursion of cold air. So this front that comes through Thursday into Friday, that is going to be the kind of push through of the Arctic air, and then it's going to be around as our system comes through. So still dealing, you can see actually where the front is laying down. Let me kind of go here. Let me go back to this. You can see where we had a little bit of meeting going on here. So it's hard to see, but if you look close enough here, do you see how we get a little bit of meeting of the wind? So this is most likely that front that's coming through Friday morning, coming in kind of from the north. So the backdoor fronts that we're used to, right? And then as that goes through, you can actually see it kind of push all the way, kind of laying down as we get this incursion of really cold air. So now we're starting to get a northeasterly wind flow as we go into Saturday morning. Temperatures are dropping very quickly into the 20s. We could be in the upper teens to lower 20s through a good part of the event. And so that is going to set the stage again for more sleet or freezing rain and not so much snow. We have too much warm air coming upstairs. That's not going to allow a snowflake to start as snow and stay as snow as it comes all the way down. It's going to run into warm air, and that's going to melt it. The question is, how does it refreeze? Does it have enough time to refreeze into ice pellets, or does it freeze upon contact with the surface? That's going to be the difference between freezing rain and sleet. So here we are into our Saturday. Let's do this timing for you. So this is Saturday afternoon into the evening. Notice here where the cold air is. This is going to be our quick burst of snow that we get into our Saturday. Very short-lived, and the warm air is going to fight back. So this is our high-resolution model already picking up on kind of the trend that the European had, which is the warmer air. And you can see here by 9 o'clock, we're already riding the line there of snow and then sleet. So this is going to be mixed precipitation. Some of it's going to be icing. Some of it is going to be sleet. So it could be a good period of sleet, I think, as we go towards Saturday evening into the overnight into our Sunday. And look at these temperatures. This is insane. We're in the 20s, in the teens, 18 degrees in the Triad, 13 degrees in Boone. Obviously, it's not surprised that they're very cold. But then towards Raleigh there, 20. So, I mean, we're going to be very, very, very cold. And you can see we're just riding that line. So we'll probably see sleet for a good portion of our Saturday. And then, unfortunately, for the rest of the day, Sunday, with the temperatures as cold as they are and continuing to see the precip move through, that's going to trend more towards icing. And so we'll get a quick burst of snow. And then we'll see sleet start mixing in with that pretty quickly. So we'll get sleet on top of the snow. And on top of that, we're just going to put a nice glaze of ice over everything. So that is just going to make hazardous travel expected across the Triad. Again, here's a kind of a more localized look, right, across the Triad. So here we are into our Saturday. There's that quick burst of snow. And again, remember, it doesn't even start till maybe 5 o'clock. And so 5 to 7, that's maybe your 2-hour window for a quick burst of snow. And then we're going to start to change over as that warm air starts to win out upstairs. We're going to start to change over to sleet. And then from sleet, I think it's going to sleet for a good portion of the evening Saturday. And then we're going to eventually start to switch over to freezing rain. Temperatures in those lower 20s, upper teens, that's just prime temperatures for really an icing event. So let's look at the timeline here. Let me pop myself off. So you can see Saturday, dry most of the day. We're going to see that brief snow, very quick burst, and then it's going to change more towards sleet All right, this is going to cause, of course, travel difficulties. So when are we talking about seeing those impacts? We'll show you that in just a moment. But then we're going to see mainly sleet moving in overnight Saturday night, as I talked about. It'll be very difficult travel, as that's ice pellets on the road, and it's very difficult to melt that. So you're going to be trying to drive on ice pellets, which is not going to be fun. Saturday, sleet, freezing rain will mix in, and then we're going to take over from freezing rain, and we're looking at, again, an ice storm is possible. This is dangerous. We're talking, again, widespread power outages, extended impacts for the Triad, and freezing rain will eventually end Sunday night. Power outages could be possible at this time, and unfortunately, cold air is going to be on the way. So let's talk about that storm timeline for you. Power outages, again, we're going to potentially see some of those as we start going towards, really, I think, more Saturday night into Sunday. Dangerous travel, that's going to be expected kind of, I think, maybe more towards, instead of the afternoon, it's going to be towards the evening. And then we'll see that more into Sunday morning. And then, of course, freezing rain, we're watching that increase as well. So what everybody wants to know, what will fall. This is our best thinking right now. Snow and sleet is going to be possible closer to the North Carolina state line and Virginia state line. Then we're going to see snow, sleet, and some ice as well, and looking like more ice as we go into the Triad proper. So that major ice threat starting to creep further to the north. It does include parts of Davidson County as well as Randolph County. So, and of course, all of Montgomery County is included in that as well. So these are our counties. You guys could definitely see a major ice threat from this storm, and that's the way it's trending, which is not good news. So what is our freezing rain risk? All right, well, I talked about the criteria for an ice storm warning from the National Weather Service is a 1/4 inch of ice. So you can see there in that secondary color, the glaze is going to be up along the North Carolina, Virginia state line and into closer to, the North Carolina mountains. And then you can see there 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch in the northern portions of the Triad. But look where that 1/4 to 1/2 an inch, that's ice storm criteria. And that's going to include southern Forsyth, southern Guilford County, most of Alamance, Davidson included in that as well, Davies included, Randolph. And then you can see that deep pink, 1/2 an inch or greater. That is a crippling ice storm for parts, the extreme southern portions of our viewing area. And we're watching that line start to creep further to the north, which is something to take very, very serious. After that, it's going to be cold air. And I want to show you this real quickly before we wrap up here. These are our temperatures into our Monday. Let's see here if I can get, you can see these temperatures are not getting above freezing. And then we're talking especially Tuesday morning with clear skies, Monday night into Tuesday morning, single digits, very serious, very cold, and we could be without power. So these are things to start thinking about. You need to prepare now. We want to give you the information. We don't want to scare you. We don't want to hype anything. We're giving you the information, and we're going to continue to give you information and updates as we get closer and closer to that storm. So that's what we're dealing with right now at the moment, and I'll leave you here with our local radar.